Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Hara. I'm the Director General for the South Asia region of JICA. Before starting my presentation, let me briefly tell you my personal background. I started my professional career back in '89 by working with Bangladesh. My first business trip destination was Bangladesh. And especially in '91, there was a huge disaster of cyclone. I worked for the post-cyclone operations I used to work for the OECF, Overseas Economic Cooperation Fund. At that time, the per capita income, if I remember correctly, of Bangladesh was $150. And it was, according to the World Bank statistics. And it was growing $10 each year. But I didn't at that time, I didn't imagine the day will come for us to talk about a miracle in Bangladesh. In my career, I worked on the what they call as the East Asian miracle, which was propagated by the World Bank during the '90s. But I'm very much happy to be back here to work with Bangladesh and talk about our operations in Bangladesh. So let me briefly go through our resume. I think I don't have to go too much in detail about this, but now we see the robust economic growth in Bangladesh with the sustained growth of more than 6% per year. Led by the ready-made garment sector and other pharmaceuticals and other industries. And achieving the lower middle-income country status by the World Bank statistics. And now the Bangladesh is graduating from the LDC category of the United Nations. And at the same time, though the economy is making good progress, I think there are risks of deteriorating current account balance, as well as the growing public sector debt if the fiscal balance remains in deficit and the government continues to borrow for the development. So now the Bangladesh needs to manage macroeconomic situation more capably, including development of new industries, especially the export-oriented ones, as well as continue its own reform efforts in tax and capacity enhancement of tax collection to increase domestic revenue. And in addition to that, proper debt management is very much important for the future. I think Dr. Sawada's presentation was very much academic, but earlier this year, we had a small study with the McKinsey and Company. And they reviewed more than 70 countries' historical development path. And they identified that for the emerging economies, that economic development trends will follow the what they call as a natural growth in the initial stage, then reaching what they call as ignition point, which is, I think, quite similar to the takeoff, according to the Rostow's very much traditional theory, and to be followed by the rapid growth and mature growth. And it's very difficult to clearly or academically define what ignition point is, but tentatively we will put it as the emerging economies to go beyond the domestic demand and domestic resources based on the export to the stage of, say, like a ready-made garment exports or the pharmaceutical exports, so that the new industries are developing and towards the rapid growth of the economy. So Bangladesh is now reaching to this point, which could be seen as similar to the China's economy in early 90s or the Vietnam's economy in late 90s. So how now Bangladesh should, pave the way for the future after reaching such an ignition point. Ignition according to our study with the McKinsey, which is, I think, more or less the same tone as the book compiled by Sawada Sensei and others, that Bangladesh now needs to utilize the limited resources for the industrial development, infrastructure development, as well as the human capital resources, so that by doing so, the Bangladesh can achieve the increase the foreign direct investment, as well as the export for the further sustainable growth. So, based on such an analysis, let me talk about the China's operation strategy. So, JICA's operation strategy. Sorry. So, two pillars: accelerating economic growth and addressing the social vulnerability. As mentioned by earlier by the other speakers, though the miracle is being achieved, Bangladesh economy and society has got many vulnerabilities. So we would work on these items like economic infrastructure development, private sector development, urban development, rural development, human resources development, and improvement of the governance, and further on, the disaster prevention and the countermeasures for the climate changes. I think I will skip. In one word, our activities or our volumes of our activities in Bangladesh is growing year by year. Same-wise, these are this is a list of our projects in Bangladesh. And the most recent activities are like our integrated or comprehensive support for the development of a Moheshkali or Matabari area, including the construction of a large power plant, as well as the port development project. So it's a very much comprehensive regional development project going on in this area. In addition to that, we are supporting, as mentioned by Sawada Sensei, Bangladesh is now facing risks of the urban congestion and the deterioration of the environment in urban areas. So in order to face this, we are supporting the construction of a mass rapid transit project in Dhaka. There are, I think, opportunities of working together with the ADB for the better improved urban transport systems in Dhaka, along with the ADB as well as the World Bank. In addition to that, we are also supporting the improvement of the investment climate, investment and business climate in Bangladesh, like the promotion of the one-stop services for the approval or early processing of the business cases by the authorities. Further on, we are supporting the not only the business environment but also the local government systems for the capacity building. Like we will be supporting various strata of the administration in Bangladesh, starting from the division, union, city, and Mozilla level. Lastly, we are promoting the partnership with the Japanese private sector by supporting, by putting our resources for the what we call as the SDG business study for the feasibility studies of the Japanese private sector, and the partnership with the, in many cases, the Japanese, not only the private sector but also the academic institutions with for the solution of the development issues in Bangladesh. So lastly, I would like to say that despite the tragedy in 2016 in Dhaka, where we lost 7 of the experts' lives, we are very much committed to the development of Bangladesh and further deepening the partnership with the, between Japan and Bangladesh. Thank you very much.